First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs.
Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. It is lovely outside, but warm, so I do appreciate you tuning in. You might want to know what your weekend weather looks like, especially with it being a holiday weekend, and we're tracking mostly heat, but I am starting with a look at radar because we've had a few tiny showers right off the coast. You can kind of see it popping up there, and we've been watching to see if those can make it to the beaches both today and again tomorrow. That's a possibility. So overall, your rain chances, I topped them out at 5%, just in case we get one of those coastal showers. Be very brief, but most of us staying sunny and dry. So overall, it is a dry, nice, but warm Friday. Our temperatures out there right now sitting in the 80s for most of us. We are in the 70s though for Brunswick and St. Simon's Island and St. Augustine. And so if you have any Friday evening plans, most of you will be slow to drop through the 70s. So it will be a more mild to warm night. So you can see by 7 o'clock, most of us still right around 77 degrees, still in the 70s up until about the 9 o'clock hour, and then dropping down into the 60s. Now, if you're out at the beaches with a bit of a breeze out there, a little bit cooler, maybe a little bit cooler to start, but then of course, as we know, as we go overnight, it stays a bit more mild along the coast. So just generally speaking, we're going to think about 70s for any Friday night plans. Then we head into our Saturday morning. First and foremost in the morning, I will be tracking the possibility of just a little bit of surface fog. It will be patchy, so you can see not everyone will see that fog. It's just something that we will watch closely. Our temperature is closer to sunrise, either side of 60 degrees, which is fairly normal for this time of year. So usually our overnight low is around 57, so we're really not that far off. You can see a lot of those inland spots. They are in the 50s for most of us, and of course closer to the water you stay a bit more mild, so you're more into the 60s for those of you for your sunrise temperatures. Saturday, we have the extravaganza egg hunt at Friendship Fountain. It starts at 10 a.m. and temperatures already right around 74 degrees at 10 a.m. Again, that is for the Friendship Fountain area, downtown area. 11 a.m., you're warming through the 70s into the 80s. By the lunch hour, we are already in the lower 80s. And as we put, you needs sunscreen, sunglasses, a hat, all smart with all of that sunshine tomorrow, and your chocolate that you might have to celebrate the Easter weekend probably melting by that point. So just try to stay in the shade, keeping in mind that it will be getting warm as we head into these afternoon hours. So our highs tomorrow on Saturday, either side of 84. So that does mean that those of you inland, you could be warmer into the upper 80s, and along coastal areas, you'll be in the upper 70s and lower 80s. So if you're going to the beach, I'm going to say, generally speaking, a high temperature for the beach, right around 81 degrees. High tide's at 1:18 p.m., low tide is at 7:23 a.m. We'll have a burn time around 15 to 20 minutes. There's a moderate risk of rip currents. Your winds will be out of the southeast, 15 to 20 miles an hour. The water temperature, 72, slowly but surely tacking on a degree as we head into the weekend, and slowly but surely those water temperatures warming up. But again, if you are going swimming tomorrow in the surf, be aware of that moderate risk of rip currents. There's also a surf height of 2 to 3 feet at 7 seconds. Then we move into Sunday, Easter Sunday. Sunrise surfaces at the beaches will be sitting in the middle to upper 60s. So sunrise is really close to 7 a.m. You'll have a temperature right around 67, 68 for the beaches, and then you do start to warm up into the 70s fairly quickly with the light ocean breeze out there. Now, inland spots, Easter Sunday morning in the lower 60s. So if you're inland and you're egg hunting or going to a church service, you'll be in the lower 60s. But then notice how quickly you warm up. 11 a.m., we're already getting towards 80 degrees. And in the afternoon, a high temperature on either side of 85. So once again, Easter bunnies, chocolate Easter bunnies are melting. The candy and the chocolate getting a little mushy out there with those warm temperatures. By the way, National Parks Week starts tomorrow and it goes all the way until April 27th. We have so many amazing national parks in our area. So if you want to celebrate, I'm starting with Fort Matanzas National Monument. If you want to get out there on Saturday or Sunday, temperatures in the lower 80s. Notice how those temperatures warm up though as we head into the work week. So we are in the middle of a warming trend. We're going to be warmer on Saturday, even warmer on Sunday, same for Monday, and then a high near 88 on Tuesday and Wednesday. Inland spots, you could have near record heat as you're getting close to 90 degrees. This is much warmer than normal. Today's average high temperature is 80 degrees, and tomorrow I believe it moves to 81, but still, with all of that said, these temperatures are warmer than normal. Now, when we take a look at our temperatures so far for April, we've had these warmer than normal temperatures to start the month. We were a little bit cooler in the 70s on the 8th, 9th, and 10th. Then again on the 12th and 13th. Even on Wednesday, we were at 79, so we were 1 degree cooler. And then yesterday, it was 1 degree warmer at 81 for the average high of 80 for this time of year. But you can see it was very close on either side. So we've had fairly seasonal weather on Wednesday and Thursday of this week, and now we're about to start ramping that heat back up and warming back up as I just showed you. So what about rain chances? Well, again, as mentioned, very low. I have that 5% in there just to watch out for any coastal shower that might try to move on shore from the Atlantic, but pretty much everyone stays dry and sunny. You'll notice more cloud cover by Monday and into Tuesday. A front is going to drop south into Georgia, but stall just north of our area. And we'll have winds coming out of the south, generally speaking. And so that's going to increase our moisture. And so we could see a few showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm in Georgia. We'll watch for it, but near that frontal boundary and also where we have the sea breeze collision. So that's what these rain chances are, 10 to 20% into next week, where we could have just a few pop-up showers, but again, most of us staying dry. So here's a look at our one model run. This is the GFS showing us the potential for rain, and you can see how it's kept us really dry all the way into Tuesday. Then maybe just a few little showers on Tuesday. Same story on Wednesday. That looks more of like a sea breeze collision on Wednesday, and we'll have that frontal boundary nearby. Thursday, maybe a few pop-up showers. Same for Friday, but overall rain chances are staying low. So with low rain chances, I thought we should take a look at the drought monitor. South Florida, parts of South Florida under an extreme drought. Tampa to Orlando, moderate to severe droughts in that area, cutting near the I-4 corridor. But then as we zoom into our area, luckily a lot of us not under drought conditions right now. However, parts of us are abnormally dry. That includes parts of Putnam County, like Palatka, Palm Coast and Flagler County, even parts of St. John's. St. Augustine, you are abnormally dry. And then north of Waycross, just barely, we're seeing a little bit of abnormally dry conditions there too. But this is something we watch closely, of course, because we have seen these dry patterns and we are staying mostly dry for the next 7 days. So we will, of course, check back in on this drought monitor next week. It's updated every Thursday, and we're going to keep a close eye on things because things are really starting to dry out. What about pollen? Are you sniffling? A change that I saw today is that grasses are starting to come back for our pollen. The pollen counts. So right now we have pollen from oak, grasses, and bayberry. I'm nervous about those grasses because that's what I'm allergic to. So if you've been good so far and then you start to feel a little unwell, it might be because of the grasses that are starting. Overall, they're going to stay on the higher side over the next several days. So just something, again, to watch out for. So here's a look at your most accurate 7-day forecast. Again, tomorrow is the start of the weekend and it's warmer. We're at 84. Maybe you want to go to the beach. Temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s there at the beach with a moderate risk of rip currents. Same story on Sunday. We continue to warm up into Tuesday and Wednesday. And as you can see, I keep those rain chances low at 20% in the extended forecast. So I'm going to leave you right now with this. This is a look of course, all across the First Coast at some of those temperatures, and generally speaking, it's just very warm for this time of year, warmer than normal, sitting into the 80s. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to send you to a quick commercial, but I want you to comment on Facebook if you're watching. Send me any sort of questions or comments, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Cut the cord, get the app, stream free. Download the First Coast News Plus app, your trusted source for news, your weather, all your sports, and so much more on your time. Yeah, your schedule. It's your most accurate forecast, your weather impact alerts, extended breaking news coverage, and exclusive specials at a time that is convenient to you and your family. Download First Coast News Plus and watch for free, right now.
I knew I needed physical therapy to be able to get back to doing the things I want to do, specifically golf.
Throughout Brooks Rehabilitation, with the 50-plus locations we have, we see people with many injuries across the board. We're really looking to individualize a treatment plan and create goals together. That way they can get back to the sport or activity they love to do.
I would definitely recommend Brooks to anyone who needs physical therapy. It enabled me to get back on the golf course to do what I want to do.
Nothing breeds competition and camaraderie in a community like sports. It gets your adrenaline up. Sports has a unique way of bringing people together. Your First Coast sports team understands that. We go beyond the X's and O's and to the heart of the game, where wins don't always make winners and the L's don't necessarily make losers, and where the highlights sometimes mean more than the trophy. It's where the real stories are told.
Sports Finals sponsored by Farrah and Farrah, Sunday nights at 11:30 and streaming on First Coast News Plus.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Again, just to let you all know, I am taking questions and comments on Facebook, so feel free to write in with your questions and comments. Right now, I just see one from Nadine. Watch out for the smoke in our area from wildfires. And I actually like this comment because we have talked about our fire danger this past week. We were very dry, and so that created the possibility of more wildfire danger because it was so dry out there. Things are starting to change. Now, still, we are at risk of these fires because it's so dry. We don't have a lot of rain. However, we will have more moisture moving back into our atmosphere over the weekend and into next week. So, as if you were just tuned in a couple minutes ago, you saw those rain chances anywhere from 5 to 20%, but there's more moisture in the atmosphere, which makes it feel more humid for us. So it doesn't feel as good, but at least it kind of brings down that fire danger risk some. But great comment there. So starting with radar, since we were just talking about rain and moisture, we are very dry across the First Coast. You can kind of see just a few little sprinklings right off the coast of Brunswick now. That we've been watching stuff like this all day in the Atlantic, little showers trying to move to our coast. That's what that 5% chance of rain is today through the weekend. Any sort of coastal shower that might make it onshore, might make it on the sand, but that rain would likely stay right along the beaches, and most of us are staying dry now through the weekend. So let's take a look at our temperatures then, because we have lots of sunshine and we are warming up. Right now we are at 82 degrees in Jacksonville. Same for NAS Jax, 85 in Waycross, 84 in Lake City. 70s for a lot of you closer to the coast, Brunswick, St. Simon's Island, St. Augustine, you are in the 70s. So most of you this late afternoon are going to stay in the 80s and then slowly drop down to the 70s this evening. But for any Friday evening plans, most of us will be in the 80s through the 5 o'clock hour and then drop down into the 70s closer to sunset. So sunset is getting close. I believe sunset's closer to 8 o'clock now. So that is a moon icon at 7 p.m. and that is a glitch in my graphics, I believe. So I need to go correct that after this. But again, sunset closer to 8 o'clock. And then the temperatures do continue to drop. As we head into our overnight hours, we'll watch out for the possibility of some fog forming, patchy fog at best. It is nothing widespread, nothing too dense, it looks like, for tomorrow morning, but still right at the surface, some of you could potentially see some fog that we'll watch out for. Others of us, we're clear, we're good to go, and your overnight lows either side of 60 degrees. So our average low is 57. Sorry, right here I am seeing comments from Angie. When are we getting rain? Thank you. Any rain for Waycross this weekend? So I don't think so. I think Waycross is going to stay dry. I just want to pop that in there since I asked you for your question, so I want to answer it right now. So yes, I think everyone is staying dry through the weekend, except for maybe on the sand right at the beach. An isolated shower, if it popped up, it'd be over in like 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll just say it's dry through the weekend. So back to what I was talking about, overnight low temperatures. Again, either side is 60 degrees. Our average low is 57. So this is a more seasonal morning tomorrow morning for any early morning Saturday plans. A lot of you in the 50s for inland spots, but then you are getting into the middle 60s, even upper 60s right along the coastline and the St. Johns River, like NAS Jax at 65. We have the Extravaganza Egg Hunt at Friendship Fountain in Jacksonville on Saturday. Lots of events going on over this weekend, especially having to do with Easter. But for this one event at Friendship Fountain at 10 a.m., we're already in the middle 70s, and then we are getting into the 80s within the 11 o'clock hour. So by lunchtime, it's already in the low 80s. And as we put there, your chocolate will be melting in the afternoon because of the warm up that's on the way. So again, this is specific for downtown, but generally speaking, all across our area, we will be in the 80s. Inland spots will be even warmer, though. You could reach 89 degrees in Waycross tomorrow. That's Saturday. So very warm weather on the way. Right along the sand for the beaches, it's upper 70s and lower 80s. But if you are out and about, just be aware, ice cream, Easter chocolate, it could be melting by tomorrow afternoon. And by tomorrow, our average high is 81 degrees. And so it is a bit warmer than what's normal. Again, that average high that we take, that's from the airport. So 81 degrees at the Jacksonville airport. That's where we will be along the sand, though, lower 80s for most of you, even upper 70s during a good portion of the day for the beaches. So if you are going to the beach tomorrow, water temperature is at 72. If you're going for a swim, the surf height is 2 to 3 feet at 7 seconds, and there is a moderate risk of rip currents. So please be careful if you are planning to go out and go swimming on Saturday. Same for Sunday. There's going to be that risk of rip currents there too. Or maybe you're just going to the beach in the morning for the sunrise services that are all along our area beaches. This forecast is for Jax Beach at the Seawalk Pavilion. 7 a.m. we're right around 67, 68 degrees. So not too cool. Not a lot of you will really need a sweater. There's always a little bit more of a breeze at the beach, so doesn't hurt to bring one if you get cold easily like I do, but most of you will be feeling okay. And then we warm into the 70s by the 8 o'clock hour, and then warming into the middle 70s by 9 a.m. Now for inland spots, you're cooler in the morning. So I'm talking Lake City, really just anywhere west of downtown and across Southeast Georgia. Your morning lows Sunday morning for egg hunting, for church services, you're in the lower 60s, but you warm up very fast. So by 11 a.m., you're already in the upper 70s, moving into 80 degrees. And then by 3 p.m., our high temperature, you can see it right there, 85 degrees, either side of 85. And those far inland spots, so again, Waycross, Lake City, you could be close to 90 again on Easter. So it is just very warm. We are in the middle of a warm up, and these temperatures will continue to rise, which you can see here. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If you're heading to Fort Matanzas, maybe temperatures getting through the 80s, and the humidity will be returning. I mentioned this a little bit ago, but National Parks Week actually starts tomorrow, and it goes all the way until the 27th. And so we have a lot of great national parks on the First Coast, and you should take advantage of this long extended week and go check them all out. So if you want to start with Fort Matanzas or any of the others, but this is mainly for the Fort Matanzas forecast, coastal area. There in our southern areas, we will see these temperatures slowly climb through the 80s and be in the middle 80s by Tuesday. But for the Jacksonville airport by Tuesday, we're at 88 degrees, and the average high today, 80. Tomorrow it moves to 81, and you can see these temperatures are above average. So over the weekend, warmer than normal, and then continuing to rise into the upper 80s for Tuesday and Wednesday, and that does mean inland spots, you could be touching 90. We could actually have near record heat for our inland locations by Tuesday and Wednesday, by the middle of the week. So when we take a look at what has happened so far this month, we've been above average more days than below average. But just look at the past 2 days. With an average high temperature of 80 degrees, Wednesday, you were only a degree off from the average. And then yesterday, we were also only a degree off just on the other side. So we've been fairly seasonal for this time of year the past 2 days. It's been a normal afternoon forecast for us. However, as we know, we are going to quickly warm up and be much warmer than normal from here over the next 5 to 7 days. So that is something that we will watch for. The general trend is warmer than normal. So what about rain chances? As mentioned, 5% over the weekend, including today, because of those little coastal showers that are trying to move onshore from the Atlantic, but most of them fall apart before they ever hit the sand. If any of those showers make it to the sand, I think they will fall apart very quickly. Once over land, it would be a 5-minute shower and then it would be done. Most everyone stays dry this weekend. The 10 to 20%, that starts to come back. That's for 2 reasons. One, we'll have a front that's moving south into Georgia. It's going to stall mainly to our north, but that could help trigger some showers across southeast Georgia. And then for northeast Florida, we are seeing winds generally out of the south. That's pulling in more moisture into our atmosphere as well. So we have more moisture in the atmosphere. It means more humidity all across our area too. Not only are we getting highs in the upper 80s to near 90, but it will be humid too. So it's really going to feel gross and sticky, more like summertime by the middle of the work week. But then we could have some sea breeze collision happening, and that could pop a few more showers out there. So that is what we will watch for the middle of the week when it comes to that 10 to 20%. So here's just one model showing you that. Again, most of us staying dry, only a few sprinkles possible Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday into Friday. As you know, rain chances 5 to 20%. We have an extreme drought in South Florida, but for our area, some of us, we are abnormally dry, and then parts of Putnam into Flagler, you are under that moderate drought condition. So we're going to watch this closely because our rain chances are staying low. Meanwhile, our pollen counts are staying on the high side. Pollen from oak, grasses, and bayberry. All right, I'm going to wrap things up here, but I will leave you with a look at your 7-day forecast. Have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful rest of your Friday.